So instead of the full length 22, taking some tracks out. We'll leave Singapore in, we'll leave Monza in, Zandvoort in, Spa in, Hungary in, France in, Austria in. Silverstone, not a big fan of Canada or Monaco. I do like Imola. All right. No assists in the driver assists. Practice format. Should we do one-shot qualifying where you just go out and put? Nah, we'll do short qualifying where it's a time session. 50% length races. Approximate instead of perfect weather so that it gives it a little randomness. Yes on driver moves. Increase the department event frequency so that they'll bug the shit out of me. Turn the fault frequency to standard because I hate my life. And fault types also on standard. Wait, on high, because then mechanical failures will be enabled. And that means your car can just shit itself. Pit stop, immersive, safety car increase, safety car experience, immersive because the broadcast was glitchy. I like to turn on the mechanical failures onto the high and put them on standard rate so that they happen just as much they happen to the AI to me, and then they can also like the AI can pull off and just not finish the race. That can also happen to us. Whereas if I have that turned off, it would never happen. So it kind of evens the playing ground. We're turning the broadcast off on the safety car because that shit was broken. We are gonna try immersive formation lap this time. Can always change it if I don't like it. Gonna start on 70. We're gonna leave flashbacks on because, yeah.
Okay, boss. First,
Team details. Welcome to Pump 9 Motorsports, baby. Here, we're deciding on our teammate and our livery. We decided to go with the most challenging sponsor because I want to fight for the midfield anyway. So 15 points should hopefully be achievable by the end of the season. Just quickly gonna throw on some color selects here. Go with a nice purple and black livery, purple and black team colors, nice little badge. I did P for inside joke with the friends, piston heads. You know who you are. Um, and then pretty soon we'll get into the interview with Will. And then after that, we'll jump into the first race. So here we're just kind of telling Will how hard it's going to be for the team, but that we still plan to shoot for points. He's lucky to even find a teammate to sign for us, being such a brand new team. Uh, we definitely focused on traction out of the corners, which is going to give us a rear wing upgrade off the bat. And then we're also going to do a drag reduction. Going to shout them out. That's also going to give us an aero upgrade. Make us a little more streamlined, be able to attack in a straight line. We have that Red Bull power unit, so we should have a decent amount of power and some decent reliability. And then lastly, we're going to go with the weight reduction because that just kind of help our car overall. And then we're going to give the gold star to the chassis. That way we can start with level 1 everything on chassis and we can really improve the weight of the car. We can really improve the tire wear. Uh, Chassis has always been one of my top priorities. And here we are just going in and filling out our activities for the week. I'm going in and seeing what upgrades we started with on the car, which I already set them. And we check out what parts are available in the durability and in the engine. And we're going to go ahead and throw on a weight reduction upgrade that should go on right before the Bahrain Grand Prix.
The personnel department has
Um,
asked us to deal with
we're
this.
going to give my driver
We
a
have a
little bit
couple of
more
hands.
awareness
I
because you
know
got to
the
be able to
schedule
finish the
decisions can be
race.
challenging, but I think you made the right call.
Like, you got to be able to finish the race point blank. If you don't finish the race, then there's no point in having pace. So we're going to increase his awareness on that one. We end up going um, with the decision to wait, get a little bit more resource points, and then I think we go for
I
drag
need your input
reduction.
here. Not an easy choice, I know.
And we're going to get hit with our first problem.
Not an easy
Now,
decision,
considering that
but you
the
handled
team
it
is
well.
level 1 and we
Thanks.
don't have like any acclaim, we're just going to take the acclaim hit because we cannot afford to ruse. We cannot afford to lose 500 resource points right now. That just can't happen. And here we're just going to finish up buying the rest of the level 1 driver perks. Going to get the engine map wear down. We're going to get the resource points bonus and the acclaim bonus, which is going to bring in more money. And then here you see us confirming that we are indeed going to go for the major drag reduction, which should go on before Imola. Here we're taking a peek at the performance chart, kind of seeing who we stack up against. We're right there with McLaren, just a little bit ahead of McLaren, and then we're behind Haas and AlphaTauri just a tiny bit. So that's kind of who we're going to be taking the fight to. We're going to be looking to try to get in that midfield fight.
Morning, mate. Mark here. Thanks again for bringing me on board. You found a lot of talented people for this team, and I can't wait to see what we can accomplish. Our journey to the Constructors' Championship starts right here today, and the car is ready to head out when you are.
Yes, let's get out there. Let's get some points. Let's get some good driving in. We're going to go ahead and slap on my Bahrain setup. I already have setups for all the tracks, courtesy to Sim Racing Setup. It's a really nice YouTuber who does F1 setups every year. Definitely go check out his video if you need some good F1 car setups. He does them more so for long distance races, not just like a hot lap time attack.
This test is all
So
about
it's
tyre
perfect for
management.
what we're using
Try
it
to
for.
control the
So
slip
we're going to go
changes
out
well
on
and
track
take
for the
extra
first
care
time
putting the power down in the
and
apex.
try to get these practice programs done, get these resource points, try to get a feel for this car and see what we can really do and see how we can push it. Well, we might have pushed the car a little bit too hard because about 7 minutes later into the session, we're trying to do the strategy program. We already finished the tire program. We just pushed a little bit too hard on that exit, so I'm gonna go ahead and redo that. Uh, make sure we can maximize points. I'm not afraid.
Great lap. You nailed exactly what we asked for. Keep it up.
And then any of the practice programs that we couldn't complete, like getting the purple on the qualifying, and then just some of the little things that we missed on the side, like the average top speed trap. Like we're not gonna get that one with how slow the car is unless we just took all of the downforce off and just deployed the battery down the straight. But I'm not that really worried about it. We can get it with the practice programs, the quick ones. Just speed up, do this real quick, ensure that we get everything so we can really try to maximize our chance in this championship. But now it is time for qualifying. We are running the short qualifying program right now. I am thinking about changing it to the full qualifying where you have Q3, Q2, and Q1. Not sure if I want to do it just off of time. I do like the short over at least one shot. So we'll at least do short. We might extend it to full qualifyings later. But we're going to do a drive out. We're going to be real nice and easy on the tires, get them up to temp, and then we're going to go for an out lap. And we're going to go back on recharge on the battery, take care of the tires for another lap, and then we're going to hit it for a second attempt. And here we go, up to the line, activating DRS, going for our push lap now. Looks like we got a little bit of space between us and the Alpine. Try to make sure of that. Gonna brake really hard at the 100-meter board. Oh, just overshoot the braking zone. Didn't quite lock up a ton, just a little bit, but we managed to pull through. Gonna just see what we can manage out of this lap. It is the first lap of the session, so there's plenty of time. The track's gonna rubber in. We're gonna get a lot of track evolution, a lot of good laps in. So right now, it's really just about putting a time on the board to make sure that we have something. Coming down the tight hairpin, up the hill, onto the sharp downhill left, into the sharp left-hander. Gonna keep it straight on the exit, activate the DRS, kind of stick to the line here. And then we're gonna push ourselves to the right, brake right around before the 50-meter board, probably like 70 meters. Gonna hook it, just kind of easy on the throttle, keep the traction. Really extend further into this corner so you can hit that apex and get the power down early. It's really important. And then going into the final corner, you have to be brave. You have to line yourself up and just send it. Take a little bit of curb if you need to. Then that last like kind of straightening out turn, you don't want to get on the throttle too early because you will spin yourself. That puts us at a 132.261. We're gonna dodge out of the way and go into save battery mode. It puts us between Ocon and Norris. Not a lot of people have gone out and set laps yet, so 4th place is not even close to a representation of where we are going to be. We're going to have to see how the field unfolds, how people start putting in the laps. And then we're going to go out for a second one right after this cool down lap. And here we pull off to the side for Perez, try to let him go through on his lap. Apparently he's not on a lap right now because he just pulls off to the side. I see cars coming up behind us, so I'm trying to get out of the way really quickly here. Perez just taking up the inside line. Oh, he just parks it on the apex. Checking to see if we have wing damage or not, because I didn't know if we made contact. I'm going to go back in the replay and check it out. He just swings up the inside, takes a little bit at curb, and just parks it on the apex. But luckily, no wing damage for us. We come out A-OK. There was no contact between me and Perez. Then he just slams on the brakes. We fly by him. Sitting here trying to let Perez go by. Now there's Verstappen. We're trying to let both Red Bulls go by. They just sit there. To the point where there's 3 of us basically doing 50 miles per hour, not doing anything. Verstappen goes through. Perez is still just locked onto the back of us. He acts like he's going to go for an overtake there and then just parks it. I believe he's going to go into the pit, so it really doesn't matter. We just got done with our cooldown lap, so we're actually going for another push lap. We got just enough battery, about 60-70% coming out of the straight. We do have a Mercedes behind us, so that may not be too favorable for our lap time. Coming into turn 1, a lot better this time. We still overshot the apex quite a bit, but it was better than the first time. We're up by like 6 tenths. is George Russell, though. He's going to be the bane of our existence, coming up the inside. We're going to tuck in behind him and see what we can try to achieve. It's almost impossible to gain time in this middle sector whenever you're stuck behind someone like this, but we're going to do what we can. Now we are going to get slipstream here from him, so that is one plus. Try to use it to our advantage. Not gaining any time though. We're still negative on the delta. It's looking kind of rough, but we got another straight and then the final straight that we might be able to get some time. But being down 2/10, it's not looking too hot. I think we're just going to dive into the pits, do a practice pit, and come back out on another set of tires and come out and fight another day. Still currently sitting P8 with the Alpines in front of us and Lando Norris behind us. Oh, make that Magnus. Magnus is now behind us. Alright, so we came out on a fresh set of tires. We already did our out lap, keeping them nice and toasty, keeping them not too worn, and we're gonna try to improve. We came out 14th. A couple other people have gone out and done their laps, actually put some laps down now. Charles hadn't, so there were some people who we expected to be pretty high up who hadn't put in times yet. A little wide on that apex there, but we're still up by about 5/10, so we're just going to keep pushing. We did a lot better in our turn 1 this time, so we gained a lot of time there. But we're going to overshoot there just a little bit. Still positive on the delta though, still time to improve. P14, we can do a little bit better than that. If we can gain the 6/10 or the 5/10 that we're looking at, we can at least hold our position, maybe gain 1 or 2, depending on how the track evolution is and how many people come out in the last couple minutes to set down the laps and how good they are. Gonna come around this final corner, not the final corner, the penultimate corner. Didn't quite hit the apex at the right speed I wanted, but we're about 7/10 up coming into the last corner. Gotta be really brave, just a little bit of curve, a little correction there. And come across the line, still a good improvement, knocks us into P10 for now. And here we have Gasly just going super slow, getting out of the way. And I want you to remember that. Because here we are on the same lap after he let us pass him and he's going for the overtake into the final corner. So we're going to try to do the old switcheroo move on him and tuck into his slipstream. And this is the last lap that we're going to get of qualifying. It's the second lap on these tires. It's the last lap of fuel we have. We only have 40 seconds left on the clock. So this genuinely is our final chance. Gasly has put it in the bin for us. As you can see, we still improved, but it was just barely, and that is going to put us P13 for our first ever Grand Prix in our driver career for Pump 9 Motorsports. Very happy with this result. Was honestly expecting quite a few spots lower than this. Let's look at where our teammate is going to start.
Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started.
It is a Carlos P1, interesting, not a Max or Charles. Oh, our teammate is starting 18th, and he's actually 4 tenths off pace of us. So I'm impressed. Good job, Marcus. Good job. And here we're going to take the resource points that we got from the practice and we're going to throw on the major weight reduction, which should go on before Imola, I believe, which would be super useful.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, and Pierre Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Russell, and Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Vettel, Alex Albon, and Marcus Armstrong, Norris, Stroll, Joe, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Here we are trying to decide on the strategy. We end up taking out half a lap of fuel. Don't know how good the car is going to be on fuel yet, so we're just going to take out half a lap because it gave us a full extra lap. And everyone's starting on mediums, so we're going to follow suit since we have a pretty decent P13. And we're going to try to keep up with the pack and just see how this race goes. Onto the formation lap. This is our first time doing the immersive formation lap with the new grid
Okay, so let's go through all
lineup
the gears if you can. Let's make sure
feature.
Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
And the green lights, and away we go for the first Grand Prix of our driver career. A little shaky off the start. Back end's a little bit wobbly. Tsunoda gets us on the jump, but we're going to cross over onto the inside, get a couple cars up the inside. Touch a little bit on the Haas there. Oh, he's going to run into the side of us. We went 3 wide. Taking a little bit of side pod damage. We're going to have to see how that feels on the car. Oh, getting real close. Had to lock up. Schumacher's going to go by us. It's better than collecting the back of Gasly's gearbox, though. We're just going to have to try to attack and get that position back. We are up a position from where we started, and we're just going to do it immediately. Send it up the inside of Schumacher. He has no option but to try to fight back wheel to wheel going into the downhill weird turn. We're going to go over the curb, unearth the car, lose another position back to Tsunoda, try to tuck into the slipstream, dump a bunch of battery so that we don't lose pace. We probably took underbody damage in that, but we're just going to have to do what we can. First race is off to a very shaky start.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
Gonna check the MFD, see if we have any excessive damage. Seems to just be kind of light green damage, nothing too serious on the side pods right now. We're still keeping up with Tsunoda. Magnus makes a mistake. We make a mistake. We're gonna rejoin back on the track. Stroll right behind us. Luckily, we didn't go into the gravel, we didn't do any damage to the car, but we did lose quite a bit of time to the Haas and the AlphaTauri. We're going to have to try to get that back. So we're just going to put our head down and see what kind of pace we have, try to pull away from Stroll. DRS is going to activate next lap, so we just got to try to get back within DRS shot. Couple laps later, and we have a big bundle of cars up in front of us fighting. The gap has dropped from 3 seconds to 1.2 seconds and steadily dropping. Bottas in the pits for an early pit stop. He must have front wing damage or something. We're going to go ahead and take a check on that. And it does look like they are swapping out his front wing. Going on to a set of hards. It's going to be tough for him to recover in this race, but it is Bottas, so I believe he can do it. Back into the fight for P11. Magnus and Ocon are side by side going into the middle sector of the track. There's even more battling going on up ahead, but we're just going to try to take advantage of whatever we can and try to tuck in behind whoever is going to get the advantage. Whoa, getting real close to the back of Magnus there, almost collected our front wing on the back of his car. We're going to have to take a little bit of evasive action to go around. Didn't lose too much time. We're definitely in the DRS range. Yellow flag behind us. Something. Oh, in front of us. It's George Russell. George Russell has pulled off. He is out of the session. That is going to give us a position. We are now into P12. Right on the back of Magnus. He seems to be slowing down quite a bit. We're either catching up in pace or he might have damage because Ocon is starting to pull away from him. He's just sitting there like a sitting duck. We don't exactly want to get him on this DRS charge though. Or get him on this lap, I mean, because we need to charge up the battery and we can use the DRS that he has and part of this DRS train to just build some charge. If he ends up losing the DRS, then we can really go for an attack and see what our pace is. But if we can get Magnus and then we get Ocon, we're looking at potential points. And we want those points badly. We are not going to give up on this battle with Magnus. This Haas has the Ferrari power unit in the back of it, so it is quick, but we are just as quick. We have about 30% battery, still trying to get a little bit higher. We had to use some in order to stay within range, but Magnus is really dropping back now. He's almost out of DRS range within Ocon, and that's really going to give us a chance to attack. We don't need that. We are just going to dive up the inside of the hairpin, force him onto the left side of the track. He's still going to pull out ahead, so we're going to have to tuck away. Took a nip up the inside, decided it wasn't the greatest idea, so we backed out. Just going to go for the DRS train. He has now lost the DRS to Ocon because of our fight, but we are now under threat of Stroll. We are going to slightly push him to the left and then come back to the right, not give him a ton of room on the apex, but hey, we're ahead, so that's our corner. And then we're just going to try to stay within the slipstream of Magnus, stay within the DRS zone, because if we lose that, then there's no telling what our pace is going to be like compared to these guys. So far we're keeping up pretty well, still getting that battery kind of charged up. If we can nail this corner right here, get the DRS, get real close onto the back of them, we have a chance into turn 1, and if we don't get it into turn 1, then we get the double DRS zone into the second and third turn, and that's when we can really try to go for a move. Magnus going defensive, we're going to swing on the outside, brake as late as we can, give him plenty of room, get him plenty of respect, and we're going to take that position, make it stick. We are now into P11, one position away from points. Ocon is currently 2 seconds up the road. Let's see what kind of pace we have now in this clean air.
Window now, and you're going to be on hard next time.
Tsunoda going super deep into turn 1. Now wheel to wheel with Ocon. Ocon has to tuck back behind, but it's going to give us a great run on him. So we're now wheel to wheel with the Alpine going into turn 3. Going to tuck it in slipstream to Tsunoda. Try to give him plenty of space on the inside. Tuck away on the outside. Be easy on the throttle so we don't spin out and bend it in the wall. And now we are in P10. We have gained 1 point if we can maintain this position. Now Tsunoda is right in front of us and he looks very appetizing. think we can pick him up and maybe grab another couple points. It is still pretty early in the race. Anything could happen. Oh, big lockup from Sonoda. It's going to make us have to slam on the brakes. Ocon's on our tail now. We're going to have to go on the defense. We're going to go wide to the left, force him to the right, take the inside corner, park it on the apex, and tuck in this slipstream and try to pull away as fast as we can. Still right behind us.
Okay, you want to pit this lap, so push
Here
now,
we are
push.
going into turn one a couple laps later, right on Sonoda's gearbox. Oh, we're checking the MFD, slams on the brakes. Did not expect him to brake that early, so we're going to send it up the inside. We make it stick. An unexpected overtake. Still going to get the DRS in him too, because we were behind him in the detection zone. That puts us into P9. Moving up a spot into gaining some more positions, some more points, just working our way up the field, seeing what we can do. We are about 30% tire wear now. We're aiming for about 40. Our pit strategy was to come in on lap 12. We've decided to stay out a little bit longer because the tire wear is not that bad. We're still putting in pretty good laps. I think we're about a half a tenth or half a second off of our best right now. Everyone else is coming in for pits, so we're just kind of try to do a little bit of an overcut strat on these Haas and maybe on these AlphaTauri. And we're gonna fly by the pits. A lot of early pit stops right here. Lap 14 out of 29. A lot of people coming in when they're on the mediums, coming out on the hards. We have Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc in front of us. It looks like the other Red Bull and the other Ferrari are up ahead.
Car ahead of you
We're
is
now
looking
about
at hard
40
tyres.
percent on our front left, so we're gonna start feeling loss of grip now, so I think it's about time to come into the pits. Everybody else just came in too, so we don't want our outlap to be
5 seconds.
too tremendous, and we want to kind of even it out with theirs. We don't want them to be putting out banging laps. Oh, huge moment, huge spin. And we're going to have to use a flashback in this race. It's going to be their first flashback of the actual race so far. Going to redo this turn. A lot better that time, a lot easier on the throttle. Was probably a little too scared going in that second time, so I really didn't want to mess it up. Take it a little wide going into the downhill. Two-handed turn. Ocon's still behind us, with Sonoda still behind us. They haven't pitted either. I expect them to pit with us on this lap. Really just pushing a little too hard and having to use a flashback there. It's our in lap, so really trying to get the best in lap I can. That way, while all the guys who are on their cold hard tires right now are struggling, we can try to gain as much position, as much time. It did cost us a little bit. Luckily, we have the flashbacks to save our ass. And we didn't have to redo the whole race or just retire from our first race. Into the pits we go, slamming on the brakes. Ocon and Sonoda are both pitting behind us, as I expected. And we're going to try to get this turn in right.
So Marcus is in the pits. Marcus in the pits.
Purple. Perfect. What kind of pit stop we going to run, guys? 2.4, not bad. No pit stop errors. Now we're just going to have to get these hard compound tires into operating temperature quickly, and we have quite a few rapid cars coming up behind us who have already warmed up their tires, but the overcut strategy has worked. We are in P7. There is an AlphaTauri behind us and the Alpine behind us, with Hamilton in front of us, with Fernando Alonso up next. So we are actually looking to score some pretty decent points this race if we can hold on to our position. Here we have Gasly trying to go around the outside. Does not work for him. He takes just a little bit too much curb there and flies off the side of the track. Yellow flag up ahead in the front sectors ahead of us. It looked like it was one of the Ferraris or the Red Bulls. We'll have to check on that and see what's going on up there. Seeing what happened here with Gasly. Yep, he just went a little bit too much over the curb. Gonna see if we spot anything with these Red Bulls. Oh, that's not gonna end well. This right here, something has happened, and we're actually going to check on it. We're going to drive a little bit more forward, and we're going to see what happens with these two Red Bulls. Because I am willing to bet that they collide. I was willing to bet that they would collide when I was watching it, and now I know for a fact, because that's the second time I've seen it. So one of the Red Bulls is going to have to come in for a pit stop. He's going to have to come in for that new front wing, because he just catapulted it over that curb and just full sent that shit. And as a result, we are now in safety car. So that is actually going to bunch the grouping up. Don't know if that's going to hurt or harm us, as we will get a shot at the guys in the top 6 now, but that is going to put Ocon, Schumacher, and the rest of the field right behind us. So it should be an interesting restart. Don't think we're going to see too many pit stops unless it's for some wing changes. Everybody already did their mandatory stop. Everybody's already on the hard compound tires. So I imagine everybody should stay out, maintain track position, and then once safety car dives back in, we should have a little final lap shootout.
Green flag. Gap to your teammate behind.
We touched Hamilton,
3.0 seconds.
but it's okay.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
Now at this point, I am trying to hold on for dear life because we have severe side pod damage from the 3 wide into turn 1. Someone sent it up the inside. I had no option. There was nowhere on the left. They took all the room on the right. I just had to sit there and eat it. We did gain the positions out of it, but we've taken severe damage and we can feel it. There is lots of drag on the car. It's a little bit understeery, it's a little bit squabbly. You can feel the back end trying to kick out sometimes, so you know, you're getting a little bit of both actually. Gotta keep an eye on the temperatures because of all the side pod damage. Gonna go to defense mode here.
I got a bad feeling about this.
We stole the DRS. At this point, I'm just trying to hold on to points.
2.0 seconds.
Wait, I mean, we gotta keep Gasly behind us, but still. Our engine's getting dangerously hot. Gonna come to the side. We're not gonna get the slipstream, but it'll give us clean air, which will cool the engine down.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
That's my move. We're gonna hold on to our battery,
Okay, we've only got one
because they are gonna go into super battery deploy mode. Why would he pit on last lap? What a moron. We're gonna hold on to the battery. Yeah, I'm just worried about the engine, because this is gonna hurt us in the long term. We were on for really good points, even with the side pod damage, but once we got the severe side pod damage, the engine started overheating. But all things considered, if we can finish in a P9 and bring home 2 points in our first race, more damage? Jesus Christ.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
P13 to P9, we gained 4 spots,
Really pulled it out top once again.
with Perez and Charles on the podium.
Lando Norris, hasn't it?
So we're
Smooth,
starting on
confident and
8th,
assured. I've got no
and we need
doubt that he
13
and his
more
team are
points
going to
this
be able to
season to
repeat this
satisfy our
performance
sponsor.
today.
Let's move on to the construction.
No money, no points. Oh, engine actually. Not back there. No, you're right. Do want to focus on durability a little bit. I mean, season break. We did one race. Confusion. We're gonna increase experience because he's like shit right now. Ooh, both those on. One. And here we are just going through looking at all the upgrades. We are gonna throw on That'll go on. a upgrade before we get off. Going into the next episode, we'll be going into Imola, which is a sprint race. We'll also have the
Or we
Pirelli
could
hot lap to
do.
do. It was a pretty good first episode. We scored some points, making some progress on the car. Really looking forward to see how quickly we can progress this team and take it to the top.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wait.
We had a issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screens.